Hi everybody, Lori here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to join Alex Syberia for their Christmas release video hop, and I have a very simple festive project to share with you featuring the Festive Tree and Wreath die set. This is a fun one. It allows you to build a Christmas tree or a wreath, and then there is a separate die set with a bunch of mini ornaments. So this is kind of like a 5 tiered Christmas tree. And there's a lot of ways you can go about this. You could die cut them all out of white cardstock and use your inks to blend color. But what I decided to do, which is my favorite, is rummage through my solid colored cardstock and see if I could find 5 shades of green. Now, they're not in the perfect color family, but it'll do. And I don't even begin to remember if these are all Concord Night. There might be a little Altenew in there, but I will figure out the colors, exactly what I use, and link them in my description box if you want to know. But yeah, I love to use solid color cardstock. This is a fun way to use little scraps, and you build up this fun. Now you can make it how far you want to space out these layers. You can make a tall, super tall tree, or you could make them real scrunchy down and make it short and stubby. So you can customize the height of your tree. Now I have a white card base here, and I'm keeping it really simple. I put some foam tape on the back of the tree, and I'm popping this up right in the center of, this is an A2 white card base. And then I'm going to die cut a star. This was also in the Festive Tree and Wreath die set, and I'm using a 3D foam square to give a little support behind the top of the tree, and then just a dab of glue to glue on the star. I thought about doing a matte gold star, or you could do a glitter gold star, or maybe you even have like a star embellishment sequin. And then this little brown here is for the trunk. I thought about not even doing a trunk. Sometimes I like a tree without a trunk. Sometimes I like a tree with a trunk, So, and then here is the mini ornaments die set. There's 16 dies in this set. And I'm only going to be using the little mini poinsettia. There's a lot of fun. There's gingerbread, snowman, reindeer, Santa, all the fun things. But it was just too many things to try to fit on this tree. So I decided just to isolate one item and use repetition. So it gives a little uniformity. Now for the red, I do know that's poppy. That's Concord Night poppy, and that green, these little leaves are parsley, and then I do some in sprout. So I'm going to make several, and then this is sorbet. So I'm layering the poinsettia with poppy, sorbet, and then parsley and sprout, little tiny leaves, and then I'll make little centers. There's a tiny little die that makes itty bitty little centers to your poinsettia, which I did out of buttercup cardstock. You could use in a little enamel dot or a little sequin. Lots of fun ways to put the centers of your poinsettia. Now I must have forgot to hit record, but I glued all these flowers together. And then now I'm gluing them on the tree. I'm using Barely Arts glue and my little reverse tweezers to kind of hold these. They are teeny tiny. So you can see I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little poinsettias, and I'm kind of scattering them evenly across the tree and just gluing them on. You could also use 3D foam squares if you want to get more dimension. Or you could do different colors of poinsettia. Itty bitty leaves. I did little pears, a little parsley and a little sprout, and I'm going to tuck these in, and I'm going to kind of tuck them in willy-nilly. So some are going down, some are going right, some are going up. Just want it to be varied. Again, with a little drop of glue, and before my poinsettias have really set, gives me a little time to tuck those in. So it's a really simple card. Sometimes I like a clean, not sometimes, most of the time, I like a clean graphic design. You know what I mean? But you could zhuzh this up with some pattern paper. You could do like a frame around the tree. Now for the sentiment, I'm using the Festive Sentiments, and I am going to just use the word joy because again, I didn't have a lot of room for a sentiment. And so I thought, what could I use? Something small. Or I even contemplated not even having a sentiment on the front of the card, maybe putting a sentiment on the inside. I see cards at the store all the time. Do you ever look at cards at the grocery store or at Target or wherever? And sometimes when cards are beautiful, you don't even need a sentiment on the front. So I went ahead and die cut just the word joy out of matte gold, and then I did 2 out of white. And I'm going to stack those up to give a little dimension. Okay, so you got 2 little white ones, topping it off with the matte gold, and then I'm going to figure out where I could put this. Most of the time, I like to put things smack dab in the middle. But because of where I had the poinsettias, it just wasn't going to fit. So I ended up putting the joy down kind of in the bottom right. Now, clear, iridescent, stellar sequins. These are by Alta New. And I chose the itty bittiest, the smallest size. And I'm only going to put a few. Just, I don't know, I felt like I needed just one more itty bitty thing. I didn't want anything big. I didn't want any competition, but I just felt like it. You know what I mean? Okay, so here's the thing. What do you think of the placement of the word Die Joy? It's down on the bottom right. I asked my daughter, who's also a designer, I'm like, what do you think? It's not in the center. She's like, oh no, rule of thirds, Mom. Rule of thirds. It's fine. In fact, I like it. I'm not sure if she was just trying to tell me what I want to hear, but what do you think? Very clean and simple card. Check out the Christmas release with Alex Syberia Designs. There's a giveaway in my description box. Check it out. You can leave a comment to enter and then hop along in the video hop. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.